It is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is.
It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, he is our son and he is our thief.
If you are deviant
Yes.
and I call you leader, probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yeah.
governance,
Yeah.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, this and that. They don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers, do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa.
The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue to be misled.
Let me ask you, doctor, would you rather be somebody who does not enjoy so much freedom but you are rich?
Yes.
Or you'd rather be poor who you are actually imprisoned by the poverty itself?
My goal is not to come here and say, I want the majority ownership, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we all make money and we're all happy, and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa, with Africa, from Africa.
Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa Television. Thank you very much, all of you, the panel from Professor Gerard Onyari, Sharon Gitonga, and Dr. Joseph Nyanchama. Good morning, people.
Good morning.
Prof. Yes.
Good morning, Dr. Masanga, Miriam, Sharon, and Dr. Nyanchama, and our viewers from wherever they are.
Sharon, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Masanga, my fellow panelists, and all our viewers across the continent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Back in the studios, thank you very much, Miriam. The topic today is on the show, the editor's memo. It is food security, one of the vanguard of the Big Four agenda of His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. I'm going to be very precise, short, accurate, and I shoot the target. We shall finish within the next 25 minutes. We shall be over to another serious topic of South Sudan. Thank you very much. Miriam, any comments you want to make?
All right.
And a good morning. I am Dr. David Matsang.
All right, Doctor, thank you so much, and a very good morning to you, and good morning to our panelists, and indeed, a good morning to our viewers, wherever they're watching us from across the world. I think it will be a continuation of a conversation we had this morning over the amount of money amount of food that is being wasted, that is enough to feed the Kenyans who are now facing famine situation in parts of the country. So I think I'm looking forward to continuing with this conversation, Doc.
Thank you very much, Miriam. I think you guessed my mind correct and correctly. You got it. It's a continuation. Kenya, every year, every month, every minute, every second, Kenyans ask for food. Kenyans appeal for food. Kenyans import food. Cartels make money out of food. What is the problem with the food security section of Kenya? This time we are told that there is plenty of food which is wasted, which could feed the people in the drought declared disaster areas by the president. It is time that I sat down and I looked at what makes this situation always permanent. It is not permanent in Uganda. It is not permanent elsewhere, but only permanent in Kenya. Kenya produces enough food, but the management of the food, the management of the produce, the management of the sale, the buying, the storage. And all logistics surrounding the food production, food security in Kenya leave a lot to be desired. It is therefore very important for me as a human being, as a researcher, as a political analyst, strategist, call me any name that you want, to say what ails the food industry in Kenya. Are they the cartels? If the cartels are there, how do we deal with the cartels? Are they the farmers? Do they know what they want? Do they know what they grow? Yes, the farmers grow enough food. Now, a report coming out to say Kenya loses a lot of food. It is destroyed. It is, you know, it rots. Surely, when we have the food ministry, one of agriculture, two, the Ncpb, National Cereals Produce Board. What has ailed this National Cereals Produce Board to the extent that it has killed people? You remember Juma was killed in the circumstances that we don't know because of that money. There are so many people who have died as a result of National Cereals Produce. Waruke, the biggest scandal in life in Kenya, where he was sentenced to almost 100 years in jail or to pay 1 billion shillings. It came from Ncpb. What can we do now? Our role as the fourth estate, our role as the media is to give our suggestions. I'm not telling anybody to tell the military to go and take over the serious board. But elsewhere in Kenya, military has worked so well. I think Miriam can take a courtesy to read the names of where the military personnel and the security personnel, you have the notes there, my sister. We have the DPP office. We have the Kenya Meat Commission. We have the Nairobi Metros. Yes, we have the KWS. Yes, we have the port. We have several institutions where the military or former military officers with discipline. We have the police force today. We have several institutions where former military people or secondary military officials have taken over, and the smoothness, we can see the results. In Nairobi, where I stay, I can see the road. I told you the food can drop on the road and I eat. Pick it and I eat. Because the roads have been done. They had a big pothole. Yes. The Kenya Meat Commission was making a loss. There was a lot of corruption, killing people, stealing people's cows. Today, the Kenya Meat Commission is working. The editor's memo finds out that, yes, time has come for the military also to either look for a background, a person, a managing director, the management, to be run by the military. Look at Kenyan, it's stabilizing. It is now pumping more electricity for us because the former chief of defense forces is there, the chairman. Because part of the corruption medium that kills these institutions is that people go and steal, but they say, what will you do? But when you have a managing director as a military guy, it is very difficult for you to say what to do. What to do? What will you do? It's very difficult. Very difficult. You can't say it when he's hearing. Because he will do it. He will come for you. And the people fear to steal. The Kenya Meat Commission now is working. But the question of food security in Kenya is one of the elements that is going to make the legacy of His Excellency the President either be watered down, because people already we are declaring areas of drought, but we are again going to import food from elsewhere. Yet, the management of our food is not very good. That is the point I'm trying to make. Why should food rot? Miriam, sometime back, the people of Kenya lost quite a lot of money in importing food and the foodstuffs. That is not very good. Farmers in Kenya were left without their food produce being bought. Cartels worked hard to import maize from across the borders and away from Mexico, Brazil, and other areas where maize is imported from, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and the rest. Do we continue with such a policy when ordinary farmers, their food crops are not bought, they have no storage, it rots in the villages? Isn't it time for us today to change the behavior of our food security, since food is one of the 4 agendas that the president set out to make sure that it works? Miriam, back to you. You can bring us the background as some of the institutions that are headed, if I missed 1 or 2.
All right, very well. So in May 2021, President Uhuru Kenyatta had ordered Agriculture CS Peter Munya to oversee the transfer of Kenya Meat Commission to KDF in a process intended to save the commission from collapse. President Uhuru Kenyatta's trust in the military manifested itself as he seconded 7 senior KDF personnel to the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. And President Kenyatta also sent 2 top army officers to the Ministry of Health in the wake of public outrage over the expenditure of 1.3 billion Kenya shillings COVID-19 funds. The president seconded Colonel Kuria and Lieutenant Mutua. The appointments came at a time the ministry was on the spot over the expenditure of billions donated by the World Bank to fight COVID-19 pandemic. And also President Uhuru Kenyatta nominated Twalib Mbarak, a trained military intelligence officer, as the CEO of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. He also appointed Intelligence Officer Nuruddin Haji as the Director of Public Prosecutions. He was serving as Deputy Director of Counter-Organized Crime at the National Intelligence Services. In July 2018, Uhuru appointed NIS Director of Counterterrorism Alexander Muteshi as the head of immigration. The department is critical as it deals with issuance of passports and controls the entry of foreigners into the country. Muteshi replaced Gordon Kihalangwa, an ex-senior military officer who was appointed as Principal Secretary at the Department of Immigration. And in November 19, 2018, President Uhuru Kenyatta said he tasked Chief of Defense Forces Samson Mwadhedhe to chair the Blue Economy Committee, as he could not entrust the position to his cabinet secretaries. So we've seen President Uhuru Kenyatta.
So
Go ahead.
Yeah, Miriam, thank you very much. That is the trend that the editor's memo finds itself today zeroing on. And that we don't have much to say about it. It has to work that way. If the president wants the food security situation in this country to improve, let's get some people, hardworking people, capable people, disciplined people, non-corruptible people who can work in the National Cereals and Produce Board, which is actually littered with lots of corruption cartels who actually buy this maize, fill the cereals before the natives sell their produce. So I rest my case there, and I go now to Professor Gerard Onyari, then come to Joseph, then come to the legacy trend to tell us it's one of the projects, flagships. Professor Gerard Onyari, your comments as short as they are. We don't have much to say. We are calling. Our role as a media is to call out. We don't have powers to appoint, but we call out.
It is very close to. It is very close to my act that when you talk about the food security. In fact, it is among the big four agenda for President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, which he wanted to leave the legacy. But the agricultural sector in this country, Dr. Masanga, is compounded with corruption. See the Corona irrigation scheme project that we started. Billions of money has been pumped to that area, Dr. Masanga. Around Kimorel, that was a water dam which was supposed to, the question around those people so that we can be able to do some irrigation in that area, Dr. Masanga. And as you have rightly said, Dr. Masanga, and I want to tell you, I have done extensive research on this area, Dr. Masanga, that through the maize scandal, that's how people make money in this country. This is how the deputy president made his money. That's how you can understand the Waruke case, Dr. Masanga. There is 112 or 120 million. We don't know who took that money. So be it as it may, Dr. Masanga, you have said that the men from the military, from the armed forces, from the defense forces, Dr. Masanga, they are such a disciplined guys. And we have seen research, Dr. Masanga. See what has happened to Kenya Meat Commission. It is a living testimony. So as I submit that it is high time that we have a national conversation, Dr. Masanga, now we need to question food security in this country. Because as we stand now, Dr. Masanga, the county governments have money for even drilling wells. Agriculture is a devolved function, Dr. Masanga. Why are we again continuing from here in that we are feeding people? Simply because, Dr. Masanga, the food the farmers produce in this country. A very good example is Ukampan, just down here. When we have got good rain, Dr. Masanga, those people produce food which can feed the entire country. But within a very short time, Dr. Masanga, because they don't have storage facilities. And this is why this one area where the government will partner, that if the farmers, the citizens have produced food, they don't have the storage security facility, Dr. Masanga. They can bring the government can come up with storage facilities. Farmers can take their food. As time progresses, Dr. Masanga, they will be able to be getting their produce from them. So, Dr. Masanga, as much as the president is committed in ensuring that there is food security, and even having among the big four agenda, Dr. Masanga, among his records, he identified food security. So if he has to bring the military, who will need to work with him and achieve research and ensure that the people of Kenya, Dr. Masanga, that a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. An angry people cannot develop a country. You cannot talk about development of a country if people are not well fed. So in this area, Dr. Masanga, let me just, as we are discussing this, and the powers that be who have got the opportunity, Dr. Masanga, of implementing what we are trying to do, Dr. Masanga. If I was the president, Dr. Masanga, with the executive orders, Dr. Masanga, the agricultural sectors should be run by the military. I can see research from Kenya Meat Commission. The farmers have been paid. They are taking their animals there, Dr. Masanga. So if we have to ensure that there is food security in this country, we must fight corruption. And we mean that whoever chokes with the food of this country, Dr. Masanga, Dr. Masanga, the farmers are demoralized. This year they produce, they can't sell, it goes into a waste. Dr. Masanga, even if you are a farmer, will you do the farming the following year? So on this, Dr. Masanga, thank you for bringing this in among the elders memo. There is a conversation we are having, and the remaining 9 months or 11 months, the president should think of an option on how he brings the military people to assist him in the agricultural sector. I submit.
Thank you very much for concurring with my sentiments. Ours is a role to say, this is what the government can do. The fourth estate has no powers to appoint. But if The president wants the health sector to stabilize. He wants all this. Let's get people who are committed, non-corruptible people. People who are not corrupted easily. If you look at all the departments where they have gone, there is some improvement. There's some fear, some sense of fear that if I touch this money, we don't know where to end. There is accountability syndrome coming in these institutions. Dr. Joseph Nyachama, what is your take on this?
Thank you, Dr. Masanga. You know, Dr. Masanga, allow me first of all to say the reason why the president was appointing various officers from the military, he was simply looking for people who are efficient and disciplined. Because one of the greatest attributes of increasing resources to an organization or a country like Kenya is to how people are efficient and effective.
Yes.
So that the resources are conserved for the bigger benefit of the people. As Miriam has read, it is evident from our readings that the president's commitment was to get people, in short, who are disciplined. People who should preside over resources in an effective manner so that as many people as possible benefit from that effort. And that is a testament, Dr. Masanga, that there is a lack of leadership in several aspects of agriculture points, including ministries. In fact, when you see a head of state moving to the military, then that is a point of no confidence on people who have been bestowed with the responsibility. Secondly, Dr. Masanga, it baffles me that in this century, people can die of hunger when there are a lot of food that needs to be conserved. You know, allow me, I don't want to sound vulgar. Do you know, Dr. Masanga, even a 14-year-old girl knows very clearly that in every month she is going to experience her menstrual cycle, so she buys the buds in advance, in preparation. How then do you take a nation where people are reactive and people are dying? I think it's a challenge to help the president, and people need to change mind, stop the corruption acts, and join the president to fight this perennial challenge of hunger. Even Professor Nyari can bear witness with me in Egypt when there was starvation. You know, if you have no food, I mean, there is no focus to anything. It is on survival. That is why in Egypt, during those days when there was hunger, people pleaded before state, please take everything and give us food. Take everything. Dr. Masanga, what am I saying? We shouldn't be talking of any development if people are hungry. Forget these funny shenanigans walking in political names. Governors living, there are people dying and then going to Gara in affluent parts of Nairobi. Shame on them. Prosper their neighbor. That is the spirit of Vision 2030. That if every person has to put his neighbor at his wings, whom he or she sees suffering, one by one, we should recover the whole nation and produce a nation which is secure. In fact, I lay blame on county governments. Professor Onyari, maybe help me here. What are the ministries of county government doing? They know who's hungry. They know which region is hungry. They know what is going to be having a challenge of hunger, and they in hand just move quickly. Why does the central government and disburse money to go and pay salaries, people to live in cities, conference to conference. Dr. Masanga, in short, the president is looking for disciplined people to work to support his legacy, and he has identified military as that disciplined force. And it is a sign of no confidence on people working under departments. So military being involved in preventing hunger, there is no violation of any act of parliament or constitution. So we support the president to that effect. To that extent, Dr. Masanga, for now, I submit.
Okay. Very well. So as we wait for Doc there to rejoin, I think there's a bit of a technical hitch on his part. There's a story that was carried out here on the Standard newspaper. We had a conversation of this in the morning, but our panelists right now are not present on our earlier show. So let me just take us through quickly. Country loses 965 million kilograms of food as hunger bites, says report. In 2020, 965 million kilograms of food went to waste, tossed out or left to rot, according to a report that tries to track food wastage. This is equivalent to 89,351 trucks with a capacity of 120 90 kgs bags. An analysis of data from the Economic Survey 2021 reveals the massive loss of food by farmers is due to challenges in managing, storing and transporting the produce to the market. It comes at a time when President Uhuru Kenyatta has declared drought in 10 counties a national disaster. Now, the quantity of food lost is more than enough to feed the 6.7 million people living in the 10 counties that have been hit by the drought. So that was it. And of course, this research and this report highlights not just the maize that we know is a staple food here in Kenya, but also sectors, foods like potatoes, beans, tomatoes, fruits, maize, pineapple, sorghum, fish, and all these things put together, and how much is lost. That is actually enough to feed all of us, and no Kenyan will die of hunger, as we've seen. And so when you see the problems that is resulting to this loss of food, are these things that we are able to solve as a country, Professor? Food storage, food transport.
Miriam, in my first year, in my economic development class, my professor, and those are 30 years ago, he did tell me that sometimes governments don't want to serve their people, don't want to empower their people. And what you have actually said is true. Here at the Kingdom of Nyandarua, they produce potato which does not reach the market. In the slopes of Mount Elgon, and I want to be very, very, very honest in this, I was doing some research there. They produce enough potatoes, tomatoes, onions, but there are no roads. But from the side of the President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Miriam, he has done tremendously well in terms of infrastructure. What you only need to do, Miriam, is to get food from Kingdom of here and take where there is hunger. But because people want to make money year in, year out, we have pointed it is corruption. I have said here and again, take the constitution. Agriculture is a default function. When you go to every county in this country, Dr. Masanga, Miriam, we have got the executive secretary for agriculture. They have got the budget, Miriam. We have got the national government, the local government, the former provincial administration, Miriam. How happened that people will die? We wait until people die. So they wait for people to die, Miriam, so that they can make money. In the process of taking food there, some vehicles will be hired. Some maize, which will be imported from elsewhere, rice, name it. So it is corruption, it's ugly face. But that's why I say that, the president is the chief of the armed forces. And if the chief of the armed forces, Dr. Masanga can tell you this, if he gives instruction, it can be honored. It is not around this thing, and you see everybody now abusing the president. What in this country needs, and thank you, Dr. Nyanchama, for saying this, it is only discipline. If the chief of commander said General Body, I want you to do this in Nairobi. See how many hospitals so far have been built in Nairobi into level 4 within 2 years. So, Miriam, from where I sit, it's not that we don't have food in this country. We have got enough food in this country. But the people want to make it so difficult so that the farmers cannot be able to reach, their food cannot be able to reach the market. Miriam, do you need me to tell you, where does the deputy president get all this money he takes to the church? Have you seen him taking food to the people who are dying? Is it not better to save life? Are you not seeing the animals of the pastoralists, people dying? Miriam, is it so difficult to dig a hole which takes around 5 million? How many? Even if you are a governor and you have been given money and you realize that the problem is water. In one of the financial year, Miriam, drill all the water. Why can't they borrow from what's happening in Makueni? Do you see the mangoes from Makueni in the streets of Nairobi? What happened? Because the governor knew that what he needs to do. So, Miriam, if we have to fix. And that's why, Miriam, you know, I will talk BBI daytime, night, time, night, dream of the BBI, because it was going to address this. Unless we address agriculture, unless we address corruption, Miriam, we will be discussing this. But we have done our part. What we can do, as Dr. Masanga said, as members of the fourth estate, we have identified what we can do, Miriam. As I'm speaking today, can the chief of command of the armed forces tell the people of the military we don't have war to fight? They go to Kinangobor, the respected president of this country, Miriam, and take food where it is needed. Don't leave it to the local administration and the people of agriculture, Miriam, and the county government. That is an opportunity they have gotten to make money, I submit.
Thank you. Professor, as you have rightfully pointed out there, agriculture is a devolved function, so as much as, you know, people like to point fingers at the national government right now, one part of the country.
No!
But it is a devolved... It is a devolved function. So in this respect, are the counties failing the people of Kenya? Because as much as you put a military person as a CS, Ncpb, it only handles a few produce, but we have others. And the county seems to be failing in handling these issues to do with agriculture. Dr. Masanga.
Miriam, what we need, why we need the military on top. Have you ever had, medicine being sold at Kemsa? Since the other two officers went there. Have you had? Everything went quiet. Because the guys are inside there. They don't have anything. They have their salary. They are seconded there. They have their beer at the lowest cost in the barracks. If they want to drink, they come to give service. You are not going to tell them, oh, kuja tukuje beer. Hapana, beer yao iko kwa barracks. Some of us who have been in the army know what the discipline is. If you are sent on a mission, don't come blah, 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 blah. No. There's no blah, blah. Instructions, I want you to look up in the sunshine until I tell you to look down. That's where you look. That's why you see Major General Karahanga straighten the immigration. The immigration has a problem. Now that's why you see another one, Mzee Muteshi, my comrade, has straightened immigration. The immigration in this country, if airport, anywhere, you go there and see.
Yes.
At the airport, you are treated like a king. You know, those days you could go and fly through Kenya airport, you must have $1 under the passport. Those days of Moi. Today, immigration is working effective because there is a man with discipline who has been taught in the bush. In the bush. Lala chini kwa bush. But when you take politicians because they belong to your tribe. Because they will steal, you will bring cows, say 10 cows, write 200 cows. You remember Ruto used to write t-shirts, 1,000, then he brings the same t-shirts. Girongo told us, you remember? Yeah? Someone has grown with 50 in his blood. Will never change. That's why you see them complaining. Look at the projects that have been handled by the ex-military men or military. Look at Nairobi now. The way it is clean. You can, well, some places have not come up exactly that we want. But they are coming. If there was time, the Nairobi Metropolitan man has done a great job. Everywhere there is construction, reconstruction of roads. Dispensaries have grown up, as Onyari was saying, and the media. Look at the potatoes. Is it difficult to store the potatoes? Is it difficult? Why is it that Uganda, you know why there is no revolution in Uganda? Do you know why? Miriam, do you know why? I want to tell you why.
There's food. There's food.
There's food.
People have got food to eat.
Yeah. People have food to eat. And when you come and say, hey, yeah, Museveni is bad. He goes back home and said, kata hii matoke yangu, weka hapa. I said, put it in the saucepan, tukule na watoto yangu, hiyo mambo, tutaona baadaye. That is why there cannot be change. I'm telling you frankly. People are eating very well. The water, if you go, I was shocked. I left my, and I want to give a credit here so that the people can understand. I left my hometown, home county, which is the highest mountainous place around East Africa and Africa. We live in the mountains. That's why I shout so much. I don't live in the plains like Miriam. Miriam comes in the shores. That's why she speaks so well. For us in the mountains, you have to shout so that the other one can hear. That's why my shouting is normal, natural. We used to sound a sound. One king could call the other king through the horn. Miriam, I want to tell you what Museveni has done. I'm not a founder of praising Museveni, but I have praised him on this. Water. My mother uses a toilet, a flushing toilet. And several mothers and others, they use flushing toilets. It's water in the, look, on a mountain. They have used the old methods in Uganda to take the water top of the mountain. People used to take 2 days to carry water, one debe, you know the chirican, from the river down to the top. Now the water is up there through gravity, what they call gravity. The water is on top of the mountain. There is water in my, I'm telling you. There is water there. He has taken water. Why? Discipline. Why? The people that he has sent there are RDCs, are military. Unacheza kana kukula risasi. Kwetu hakuna kucheza. Unaiba pesa huko wanakujua mzuri. By the time they find out, you are done. If they have not taken you quickly to the jail, Onyari, I'm telling you, ask Kimani, Alihaji Kimani Kimathi, will he tell you what what happened? There is discipline where a military officer becomes the managing director. at the EACC. Can you go there and start? I want you to take 10 million and help me. No. First of all, they can even set you up and you bring it, then they catch you. The DPP, he was taken back because of the case of Mwiru. He got a shocker, but now he came back fighting. He's now strengthening the office of the Director of Public Prosecution. It is slow, but it is growing slowly, slowly. Because an officer discipline has the pain. He knows once you delay this, there will be pain. The DCI, you see, if they had, you know, people started stopping Kamata Friday. Kamata was making some people return money. Did you know that? Miriam, did you know that Kamata was very effective? That some senior officials used to fly on Thursday to leave this area. Fly. Some used to go to Tanzania. Some used to go to Kigali. You know, the creation of that sense of fear alone. Wadugu zangu msikilize mzuri. Make somebody don't touch the money. Make somebody in the serious board buy the maize of the farmer locally and then avoid the maize that is imported through Banya roads into Kenya.
And sorry, I'm interjecting your point there. Ncpb is just one part of the problem. That is, and we know it's just maize that is taken there. But we do have other sectors also inside the agriculture, the potatoes, beans, tomatoes,
the coffee sector,
and all these sectors,
the coffee sector,
and vegetables.
The tea sector.
Yes. So are you saying, should we take an army man at Ncpb? Are we saying now we need to
yes!
take an army man in all other 47 counties because agriculture is a
if we have very many of them.
How is that supposed to work?
If we have, for me, I tell you the truth. What is wrong? I have not said the army takes over.
And I'm just saying, if we were to, because you've seen the army work very well in Nairobi, and because there's a sort of a central point of management, it's easier to manage that. And we've seen also in other sectors, and those examples we've seen here where President
can I ask you, have you heard of any poaching anymore? Have you heard of us arresting a poacher?
Yes. But I'm just saying, agriculture is very diverse. It's very diverse in different counties. So how will that work out?
I am trying to boost your point.
Yes, Doc. NCPB, I agree. We need some very strong person at the NCPB. But that's just one part of it.
How we do this is some of the ministries. The president has got 11 months. Some of the ministries need to be streamlined and brought together. Yes, then the president can appoint. The president has the powers to appoint a special inspector of his own. Did you know that the president have those powers to say, Onyali, you keep quiet, you work for me. Where I'm not available, you go. And they can give you an identity card. Nobody is going to stop you. You land at a project, you say, bring me the papers. Bring the papers. You are the contractor, yes. Bring me now your papers. How much money have you been given? Show me how you have been using it. Everybody will go to Exile to Tanzania. Or Uganda. I'm telling you, the 11 months, the president has to leave a legacy. You cannot tell me that you go and write a research. And you know, Miriam, before we come to the Sudan issue, there is a tendency in the government where people eat money through this research market. You know, this, you know that who conducted this research? You have the papers there, I don't have.
This is from an economic survey that was taken from last year. Your audio. We missed some voices, but we can hear you now. Go ahead.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Who conducted the research?
It is an economic research that was conducted between last year and this year. That has shown the loss of how much we lose, the food that we lose as a country.
The point I'm trying to reach it, by who? Conducted by who?
So, Doctor, something is wrong with your audio. We can't get you. All right, we seem to be having a bit of a technical hitch there from a doctor's side. I think there's a problem there, but once he's able to join, he will come in and we will continue with this conversation. But this is a report here of how much the country is losing in terms of the food that is going to waste. And the survey showed that agriculture sector was one of the few areas that grew last year, even as COVID-19 pandemic battered the economy. Doc, we had a bit of a technical hitch, but I can see you back. Can you hear me?
I don't know. They don't want me to deliver this point. They are very painful.
Well, you're back. You know, go ahead.
You know, Professor, I think, Miriam, I just want to request you that let's prepare a topic. Honestly, you know, not being like a news people, let's discuss some of these things. What we could call round table. You know, a round table discussion. Some of the things are very painful. Look at that economic research. By who? You will find that the Ministry of Agriculture itself paid some of the economic researchers to bring them a report, and then they write to Kenyans how food is wasted. Now we have over 9 million people. Is it 6-point-something million people?
Over
under the spell of drought.
And
nobody, and the food is rotten, it is gone. But if you go to the ministry books, you will find that there was money allocated to this research, and an officer was seconded to travel along with these guys. This is, you know, there's one point I want to make here before we turn to our next topic. Kenya, all the presidential hopefuls, none of them has convinced me if I were. Miriam, are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
Yes, yes.
Professor, you hear me now and the rest?
Yes, I can hear you, Dr. Masanga.
Nyachama and the legacy trend, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You look through the economic manifestos, all the manifestos, from Ruto's manifesto up to the only person who has tried to address the question of corruption is Raila Odinga. The rest, if you tell Ruto's manifesto and the blueprint of the bottom-up economy, he doesn't touch the word corruption. And corruption is the biggest killer that has destroyed this country. Corruption is why people fought this BBI not to work. corruption created the mistakes that the court activists made a decision that throw out BBI. Because people don't want to be audited. The ombudsman, all these things in the BBI. Now I can see this man, Onyali, is crying. Oh, Onyali is crying. I saw him a few minutes crying that I wish BBI. We have to fight BBI. Has to come back. BBI has to come back. If you can see the corruption that is taking place in the ward where this gentleman here is trying to stand as a ward representative, they're asking about food. People there, some of them are asking him for chakula, wapi chakula leo. But there's plenty of food in Meru. It's corruption. Someone has airlifted people from Nairobi and dumped in this man's constituency. They are aliens, political tourists, corruption. The basis today, the editor's memo wanted to say, let there be discipline. If look at the way, before we go, another problem is education. Have you seen CBS, KICD? This, you put a military man there who has excelled in education. At a discipline, Atambia, no, I'm not dealing with that. Do you know all this is a battle of textbooks? Did you know that, sir? Did you know that, all of you?
That is exactly.
How do you kill the corruption in the Ministry of Education? This is a battle for sale of textbooks. Some don't want, some want. Some groups are saying these ones are selling their textbooks. CBS itself is not bad. It is a subject that all of us went to school to read medium. For example, I can write Luganda very well. For example, I can do woodwork. I can do metal work. I can do poultry. I can do artwork. How many of the children today we have who can even tell you the capital city of Kenya? And they are Kenyans. Tuambiane ukweli. Do you know there are Kenyans here who don't know their capital city? He will tell you it is Kitui. Put him on national TV. That what is the capital city of Kenya? CBS is civics. Who is the governor of Kitui? Who is the governor of Garissa? Who is the governor of Turkana? Civics. Children know. They should know. I think, Miriam, you better bring that topic again so that we help Magoha. Because Magoha is speaking, is sticking on the right point. The cartels are fighting him. CBS is civics. CBS is students getting, the children also, the mothers, the parents getting involved. Why should the parent go and hammer bottles and the bottles and the bottles? And then he comes back, he said, did the junior go to school? Oh, rubbish. Rubbish. Was the junior go to school today? You are drunk. Go back and sit home. That's how we used to teach good families. So in a nutshell, the agriculture, the food security in Kenya, we as journalists, we have shouted out, we have called out. May God help the government. We don't have powers to implement. But if I were President Uhuru Kenyatta, for the last remaining 11 months, I would put men like he did in KDF. Kenya Meat Commission is running very well. The animals are documented. There is no stolen cow that goes for slaughter in the Kenya Meat Commission. I submit and I end my story here. Unless, as the legacy trend talked something, Sharon?
Yeah, she was part of the conversation in the morning, so we talked about, because we had a similar conversation earlier on food security.
Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you. Let's shift to South Sudan in a few minutes after the break. Thank you. South Sudan, can the peace hold? Who is disrupting the peace? They are watching Miriam today. I managed to get the real people to watch. The two guys are watching. So let's let them listen. And for me, allow me to speak my mind out. What will they do? What? We can't wait and watch people bringing a war in the region. Wars. Ethiopia is gone. Somalia is gone. South Sudan is gone. Congo is boiling. So what? Where are we? Where are we? Thank you. God bless.
It is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is.
It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, he is our son and he is our thief.
If you are deviant
Yes.
and I call you leader, probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yes.
governance,
Yes.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, this and that. They don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers, do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa.
The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue to be misled.
Let me ask you, doctor, would you rather be somebody who does not enjoy so much freedom but you are rich?
Yes.
Or you'd rather be poor who you are actually imprisoned by the poverty itself?
My goal is not to come here and say, I want the majority ownership, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we all make money and we're all happy, and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa with Africa from Africa.